Ladies and gentlemen, funny isn't it how some people go out of their way to tear others down, to chip away at a person's dignity, and yet they never stop to think that maybe, just maybe, the same thing could happen to them. They took pleasure in disrespecting you, in treating you like you were nothing, like you were invisible. But life has a funny way of balancing the scales. They think their actions go unnoticed. They think they can walk away without consequences. But what they fail to realize is that every action creates a ripple that doesn't just disappear into the void. It returns in a way that they could never have anticipated. You see, disrespect is a weapon, a dangerous one, a sharp and cold blade that once unleashed doesn't just vanish. It cuts deep, and those who wield it may find themselves on the receiving end of that very same blade they dished out to others. But here's where the beauty of life lies. The moment they begin to feel that sting, they start to understand the price of their arrogance, the weight of their actions. When they mocked you, when they ridiculed you, when they thought it was funny to see you suffer, they thought they were untouchable, above the consequences of their words and deeds. But what they didn't see coming was the storm that would eventually rise up against them. Karma isn't a fairy tale. It's a law of nature, and it operates in ways that cannot be outrun or ignored. The very same people who laughed at your pain, who found amusement in your struggle, are now faced with the consequences of their own disrespect. They thought it would be easy to tear you down, to break your spirit. But what they failed to understand is that every time they attempted to diminish you, they only made you stronger. They only added fuel to the fire of your resilience. They believed their words and actions would crush you, but they underestimated your strength. They miscalculated your will to rise from the ashes of their contempt. They thought they could play with your emotions like a puppet in their hands, but they soon learned that you were never their toy. You were never meant to be their punching bag. You were meant for something greater than their small minds could comprehend. And now, they face the consequences of their ignorance. Their arrogance has become their downfall. The same people who disrespected you are now dealing with the disrespect of others who are tearing them down in ways they never imagined. It's a cruel irony, isn't it? They thought they could get away with it. They thought they could destroy your peace without ever facing the repercussions. But now, the very thing they thought they could wield against you has turned back on them, and it's a hard lesson for them to learn. When they once held the power of disrespect in their hands, they now feel it directed at them from every angle. They realize the weight of their own cruelty, and it's suffocating to them. It's a harsh reality when you've spent so long disrespecting others to watch the same fate fall upon you. And as they look around, they start to see the faces of those they once mocked, those they once belittled, and suddenly they understand the hurt they caused. They realize the depth of the pain they inflicted, and it's too late to take it back. Because once you've crossed that line, once you've treated someone like they're beneath you, there's no going back. There's no way to undo the damage. And now, they're left to suffer in silence. They are left to deal with the consequences of their actions. And it's a cold and lonely place when you realize that the world has turned its back on you. When you realize that those who once admired you are now looking at you with disdain. When the tables turn and the respect you once took for granted is no longer there, it's a sobering experience. And for those who are too proud to admit their mistakes, it's a crushing blow. Because pride is a dangerous thing. It blinds you to the truth. It makes you believe you are invincible. It convinces you that you can hurt others without suffering the consequences. But pride is the first thing to go when karma comes knocking. And when the disrespect they showed you is returned to them, they will be forced to confront their own arrogance, forced to see the damage they caused. And they will have no one to blame but themselves. They thought they could break you. They thought they could silence you. They thought they could crush your spirit. But they were wrong. They didn't know that you were built differently. You were stronger than they could ever understand. And as they now face the consequences of their actions, they realized the truth. They realized that the disrespect they once dished out was a reflection of their own insecurity, their own fear, their own weakness. They saw something in you they couldn't understand, something they couldn't control, and so they tried to destroy it. They tried to destroy you. But what they didn't realize is that when you face the storm with your head held high, when you refuse to let their words break you, when you stand firm in the face of their cruelty, you don't just survive, you thrive. And now, they are the ones drowning in the chaos they created. They are the ones struggling to breathe as the very forces they unleashed on you come crashing down on them. And it's a bitter taste of their own medicine, isn't it? They thought they could disrespect you and walk away unscathed. But now, they are feeling the weight of their own disrespect. And it's a heavy burden to carry. Because when you disrespect others, you build walls around yourself. Walls that separate you from the very thing you need the most: respect, trust, and love. Those walls may protect you for a time, but eventually they will come crashing down. Because no one can live in isolation. No one can thrive in a world of negativity and disrespect. And now they are learning that lesson the hard way as they face the consequences of their own actions. And here's the thing. You never have to lift a finger. You never have to lower yourself to their level, because the universe has a way of correcting things. It has a way of making sure that those who sow disrespect will eventually reap it themselves. They think they can disrespect you without consequence, but they can't. They think they can belittle you and get away with it, but they won't. They think they can tear you down and walk away unscathed, but they're wrong. Because disrespect has a way of returning tenfold, and now they are dealing with the very disrespect they once thought was their weapon of power. And it's beautiful in a way. It's a perfect example of how life has a way of balancing the scales. It's a reminder that no one is untouchable. No one is beyond the reach of karma, and the pain they once caused you is now being visited upon them, and they can't escape it. They thought they were powerful. They thought they were in control. They thought they could break you. But what they didn't know is that you were never their target. You were their teacher. You were the one who showed them their own weakness, their own flaws, and now they must face the consequences of their actions. And in the end, they will understand what they've done. They will see the truth, and they will realize that the disrespect they once used as a weapon has now become their downfall. And it's a hard lesson to learn, but it's a lesson they had to learn, and it's a lesson they will never forget. Because in the end, disrespect always comes full circle. The disrespect they found pleasure in dishing out to you has now found its way back to them, and it's much harder to deal with when it's you on the receiving end. And so, as they suffer the consequences of their actions, remember this: you didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to get revenge. You didn't have to stoop to their level. You simply had to stand tall and keep moving forward. And in the end, that's all you need to do, because the universe will take care of the rest. And as they face their own downfall, they will understand that the greatest punishment was never from you, but from the universe itself, the punishment that they could never escape, and the lesson that they will carry with them for the rest of their lives. The lesson that disrespect never goes unnoticed, and it always comes back when you least expect it. So, let them suffer. Let them deal with the consequences of their own actions, and know that you were always meant for something greater than their petty cruelty and their ignorance. Because in the end, you will rise, they will fall, and the world will see who truly has the strength and dignity to survive. What people fail to understand is that their treatment of others is never without a price. They might think that their actions can fly under the radar, that their cruelty can go unnoticed. But let me remind you of something. The universe has a way of remembering everything. There is no small gesture of disrespect, no hidden glance, no quiet mockery that escapes the cosmic scale. Every insult, every slight, every moment of belittling behavior is like a drop in the ocean. Eventually, that ocean rises and crashes against the one who thought they could walk away unscathed. The waves of consequence build up, and one day, they will be forced to confront the storm they created. When someone disrespects you, they are not just disrespecting who you are in that moment. They are disrespecting everything you could become, everything you've endured to get to where you are. They underestimate the strength of your spirit. They look at your struggles and think they are insignificant, but they don't see what you've built. What they fail to see is that you are a foundation, and every act of disrespect is a weak attempt to chip away at what is indestructible. They think they're winning, but they can't possibly understand the depth of your resilience. They've miscalculated what you are capable of. What you must understand is that they are the ones who will suffer first. They are the ones who will face the loneliness, the doubt, the destruction. When they disrespected you, they were really just showing how small their world is. They are trapped in their own insecurity, driven by the need to make others feel smaller than they are. They are feeding into their own fear by trying to diminish your strength. But here's the truth. The weaker they are, the more they need to prey on others. The louder their words of disrespect, the quieter their own inner peace. When they tear you down, they are just trying to cover up their own fragility. You have to remember that people who try to break you are usually broken themselves. The cracks in their character, their soul, are so deep that they think hurting others will patch them up. They think if they can make you feel less, if they can diminish your light, they can somehow shine brighter in the darkness. But that is a lie. They can't take away your light. No matter how hard they try, they cannot steal your energy. They cannot steal the fire within you that propels you forward. And one day, they will realize this. It will hit them like a freight train. The realization that they can't win by stepping on others. They can't win by belittling others. They can't win by destroying what they cannot understand or control. As they try to tear down others, they will soon find that they are the ones left vulnerable. They will try to laugh off their mistakes, justify their disrespect, tell themselves that it was all part of the game. But eventually, they will meet the truth, and it will be brutal. The same people they thought they could control, the same people they mocked, will turn away from them. Those they once belittled will walk past them, eyes forward, refusing to engage with someone who has shown themselves to be petty, unworthy of respect. And it's not just others who will turn their back on them. The very universe they tried to manipulate will shift, and they will find themselves struggling in a sea of their own making. At first they won't understand. They will wonder why the things that once came easily are now slipping through their fingers. They'll wonder why the respect they once commanded has vanished, but the truth will come to them. They will realize that their own actions created a void, and they'll have no idea how to fill it. They thought they could control the narrative. They thought they could dictate how others perceive them. But the harsh reality is that the perception they created of themselves through their actions has now caught up with them. They tried to control you, tried to hold power over you, but they didn't see that their own weaknesses were their true enemy. People who seek to disrespect others often feel the need to control their surroundings, to be the ones in power, to be the ones who dictate the terms. But when you disrespect someone, when you tear them down, what you're doing is setting the stage for your own downfall. Respect is the currency that fuels relationships. It's the backbone of every interaction. When you strip others of their dignity, when you mock their struggles, when you make them feel like they don't matter, you are trading in that currency. And once it's gone, you can't get it back. It's like burning bridges. Once the flames have done their damage, there's nothing left but ashes. And it's ironic, isn't it? Those who once felt powerful by disrespecting you will be the ones caught in the whirlwind of their own making. It might not happen overnight. It might take days, weeks, months, or even years. But rest assured, the same disrespect they laid on your shoulders will come crashing down on them, and it will hurt more than they ever imagined. When they disrespect you, they never truly consider the long-term effect. They never stop to think that those who they thought were beneath them will rise, and that the very thing they did to you will circle back to them like a boomerang. And when it hits them, it's not going to be gentle. No, it will hit with a force that shakes them to their core. The truth they tried to suppress by disrespecting you will be laid bare, and they will have no escape. The people they disrespected, the ones they belittled, the ones they tried to hurt, will be the ones who rise higher, and they will be the ones who take control of their own destiny. Because one thing you need to understand is that respect can never be truly taken away. It may be momentarily stolen, but it will always return to those who truly deserve it. It will always find its way back to the person who has the strength to withstand the storm, to fight through the disrespect and come out victorious. So let them mock, let them laugh, let them believe they have the upper hand. The truth is, they are already losing. They are already on the path to their own destruction. And no matter how hard they try to fight it, no matter how loud their voices grow, it won't stop what's coming. They are sowing the seeds of their own downfall with every word of disrespect, with every action meant to belittle. And eventually, those seeds will sprout, and the harvest will be one of bitterness, regret, and isolation. But let's be clear about something. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about sinking to their level and showing them just how much pain they caused. No, this is about understanding that their disrespect has nothing to do with you. It's all about them. It's about their fears, their insecurities, their inability to comprehend the power that comes with kindness, respect, and integrity. It's about knowing that you don't need to lift a finger to get even, because karma is not something you can control. But it will always work in your favor. Their disrespect may have shaken you for a moment, but it will never define you. And in the end, when the consequences of their actions come crashing down on them, you will be the one standing tall. You will be the one with your head held high, because you never let their cruelty alter the person you were always meant to be. So let them feel the sting of their own disrespect. Let them struggle with the reality they created for themselves. Let them face the cold truth that they are responsible for the world they now find themselves in. And remember this, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to play their game, respond with anger, or seek revenge. All you need to do is keep walking forward. Keep being the person they tried to destroy. Keep rising higher, and in the end, the world will see who truly holds the power. And as for them, they will be left to face the consequences of their own disrespect. And when they look in the mirror, they will see the truth staring back at them. It will be the truth they tried to ignore, the truth they tried to bury, and the truth that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. You have to understand that when they disrespected you, they underestimated the power of your spirit. They didn't realize that disrespect is like a spark, and though it may seem like a small thing, it can ignite something far greater. They assumed that by treating you with disdain, they would somehow break you, but all they really did was plant the seed for your evolution. You may have felt the sting of their words, you may have felt the weight of their actions, but there is something in you, something invincible, that no amount of disrespect can erase. They thought they could break you, and for a while, they might have thought they succeeded. They might have seen you struggle, seen you fight to keep your head above water, but they didn't understand the depth of your resolve. What they saw as weakness was, in fact, your power in disguise. What they thought was vulnerability was merely the calm before the storm. And that storm, the storm of your strength, would come when they least expected it. Let me remind you that disrespect never truly wins. It may seem like it does in the short term. It may seem like the ones who show cruelty are the ones who have the upper hand, but in the grand scheme of life, they're the ones who are losing. They're the ones who are building a house of cards, thinking they're secure, but one gust of wind, one shift in the universe, and their world will come crashing down. They think they can disrespect you without facing the consequences, but deep down they know, whether they admit it or not, that they are building their own downfall. In every cruel word, in every mocking gesture, they have revealed their own insecurity. They have shown the world the cracks in their own foundation, cracks that they've tried to cover up by putting others down. They thought that by making you feel small, they could somehow make themselves feel bigger. But all they have really done is revealed their own fragile egos. They thought they could hurt you, and they succeeded for a time. But what they didn't realize is that their actions would reverberate in ways they never expected. When someone disrespects you, when they take pleasure in tearing you down, they don't just harm you, they harm themselves. What they don't see is the chain reaction that their actions set in motion. What they fail to understand is that disrespect is like a poison. At first, it may seem like it only affects the one being disrespected, but slowly, that poison spreads and it starts to seep into their own lives. It eats away at their peace, their confidence, their relationships, and in the end, they will find themselves in a dark place, a place they created by their own hands. You see, they were never the victor. No matter how much they tried to make you feel less than, no matter how many times they tried to tear you down, they were never the one winning. They were simply digging their own grave, pushing themselves into a hole they couldn't escape. Because when you disrespect someone, when you degrade their worth, you are really telling the universe that you don't believe in the inherent dignity and worth of others. And the universe, in all its infinite wisdom, will not allow that to go unanswered. Every action has its consequences, and disrespect is no exception. Those who think they can show disrespect without facing the consequences are blind to the truth of the world around them. They may not see it right away, but their actions will eventually catch up to them. And when they least expect it, they will feel the weight of the same disrespect they once showed. It will come back to them, but it will not be in the same way they gave it. It will not be in the form of just a few harsh words or a momentary feeling of being belittled. No, the universe is far more creative than that. The disrespect they once showed will return to them in ways they could never have imagined. Their friends, their colleagues, their partners, all of the people they once trusted to stand by them will begin to pull away. The respect they once commanded will fade, and they will be left to deal with the consequences of their own cruelty. No one can truly thrive in a world built on disrespect. People may tolerate it for a while, but eventually, they will distance themselves from the negativity. And as they watch those they once thought of as loyal followers drift away, they will feel the sting of their own actions. The relationships they once had will begin to unravel, and they will find themselves standing alone. They will look around and wonder where all the respect they once took for granted has gone. The very people they once sought to control, the very people they once belittled, will have moved on. And the worst part? They will have no one to blame but themselves. They will realize that their actions, their cruelty, their disrespect toward others were the very things that caused their downfall. They were the ones who cut themselves off from the very respect and love they thought they were entitled to. And here's where the truth really sinks in. Disrespect is not just a reflection of the person being disrespected. It's a reflection of the one who is doing the disrespecting. When you disrespect someone, when you tear them down, you are really showing the world just how small your own world is. You are revealing your own insecurities, your own fears, your own inability to see the value in others. And that, my friends, is a burden that can never be escaped. Because once you've shown that side of yourself, it becomes part of who you are. You cannot erase it. You cannot undo it. It stays with you, and no amount of pretending will ever change the fact that you chose to tear others down. But let's talk about you for a moment. The one who was disrespected, the one who was torn down, the one who was made to feel less than. You are not a victim of their cruelty. You are not defined by their disrespect. No, my friend, you are a warrior. You are the one who will rise above. You are the one who will shine brighter than ever, because you have learned the most valuable lesson of all, that disrespect cannot touch the core of who you are. You know your worth, and no one can ever take that from you. They can try to break you, but all they will do is make you stronger. They can try to crush your spirit, but all they will do is fuel the fire within you. And when the storm passes, when the dust settles, you will still be standing. You will be standing tall, proud, and unwavering in your integrity. You will have survived the worst of what they could throw at you. And now, the world will see who you truly are. They will see that no matter how hard they tried to break you, they could not. They will see that no matter how many times they disrespected you, they could never take away your strength, your dignity, your ability to rise from the ashes of their cruelty. In the end, the respect they once thought they could take from you will return to you tenfold, and they will have no choice but to watch as the very thing they thought they could steal from you becomes your greatest asset. You will be the one who rises above, the one who walks with confidence, the one who commands the respect that they thought they could take away. And as they look on in awe, they will realize the truth. They are the ones who have lost. They are the ones who are left with nothing. And you, the one they tried to break, are the one who has everything. So let them mock, let them laugh, let them believe they are in control, let them think they've won. Because the truth is, they never had the power to take away what was yours. The universe sees all, and it will always return what has been lost. And in the end, those who disrespected you will realize that their cruelty was not only their downfall, it was the catalyst that ignited your rise. They tried to break you, but they only made you stronger. And now, as you stand tall and proud, they will see that you were never the one who was defeated. You were always the one meant to win.